Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing some concealers with you, giving you guys my opinions, my thoughts, some suggestions. So before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can know whenever I post a new video. Also, on Friday's video, I talked to you guys about how I will now be updating Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on my channel. And I also asked you guys if you had any ideas in mind, like if you want Mondays to be a review, Wednesdays to be a tutorial, Friday to be maybe a makeup education, etc. So make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think. Do you guys want this, or do you guys just want to have Monday, Wednesday, Friday and just have it be a surprise every time? So let's just jump in and talk about concealer. Before we get started, I should let you know that I have dry under eyes. I always put on an eye cream morning and night. If you are someone who has dryness around your eyes and you do not wear an eye cream, I cannot recommend you get an eye cream. I don't care where you get it from. I don't care if it's drugstore, high-end. Just get a good, nourishing eye cream that will help with the dryness around your eyes. So just keep that in mind. So the first concealer is the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. So for a long time, I was on the hunt for a creaseless concealer. I even did a video, I'll link that up here, about finding the perfect way to have creaseless concealer. And on my journey, I've realized that there is no such thing as a concealer that is 100% creaseless. If you are a newborn baby and you apply concealer, you will not have any creases because you have perfect skin. However, if you are of the age where you need to wear concealer, you probably have some creases around your eyes. This is just something that I have come to realize, and I think I want to pass on to you. Obviously, there's some concealers that are much better than others, but I just think that if you are looking for a concealer that 100% never creases, you might be disappointed. Back to the Maracuja concealer. So I'm going to give you a little swatch here. This concealer is very thick and a little goes a very long way. It's in a tube like this and it's very much like a paste. So you have to kind of slowly squeeze it out and hopefully not get too much product. There we go. I would say that this amount that I have on the back of my hand is more than enough for both eyes. It is very thick, very creamy. You can apply this with your fingers, but personally I prefer to use my beauty blender for almost anything. So I'm just going to play with this concealer here. You can see it's very thick, very creamy. It can be a little intimidating because it is very heavy duty. Like I said, a little bit goes a very long way. I enjoy this concealer, but it's not my favorite. It is not the one that I go to the most. So like I mentioned before, I do have a dryness around my under eyes, and I was told this was full coverage, creaseless, and waterproof. It is very full coverage. But like I said, a little bit goes a long way. So often what I end up doing is I use too much and then it ends up looking a bit cakey because I use too much. It is a good concealer. However, since it is so thick and so full coverage, I find that I end up having to blend it out a lot longer than some of my other concealers because of the consistency and the coverage. I end up having to work it more than I do other products. It's an okay product, but I'm not going to repurchase this. And if you were standing right in front of me, if we were just having coffee and you asked me, oh, do you think I should buy this concealer? I would say maybe try it in store first. Try it at the Sephora, get them to try it on you before you buy it, just to see if you like it. Maybe get a sample, try it yourself, see how you like applying it. Maybe some people prefer using their fingers because it is a very thick emollient product. So maybe if you use your fingertips, it'll blend in more and melt into the skin. Maybe you like it better than with a beauty blender. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking of purchasing this concealer. Okay, the next product I'm going to be talking about, I don't actually have it on me anymore. It is the Makeup Forever Coverage Concealer. I purchased this a few months ago. I disliked it so much that I actually returned it. Now for me, that's a pretty big deal because when I don't like something, I usually keep on to it and try to make it work, but this was so bad. When I applied it, it was very thick, and like I said, I always use a beauty blender, and it's almost as if when I put my beauty blender under my concealer, it's almost as if all of the product went directly into sponge, and then it was incredibly patchy, like there'd be a patch of concealer, and then bare skin, and then concealer, and I could not for the life of me make it blend, and it was very bizarre. It's almost as if the concealer separated from my foundation as well, because usually when I wear foundation I bring it up to here and then I put on the concealer, but it's like the concealer, when I used it with the beauty blender, it's like it's separated from the foundation, and then when I applied the beauty blender, it just soaked up into the beauty blender. It was a mess. It was terrible. I tried it for a few days and then I returned it because I was like, listen, I cannot make this work. When I was returning it, the cashier told me that you're supposed to apply this with a concealer brush, but In my opinion, if I can't make the product work with the products that I already have, it's not worth my time. So next up is the Chanel Corrector Perfection Concealer number 20. So let me just give you a swatch right now. So this comes in a doe foot applicator like this. So when it comes to application, it's quite easy because you just have to dip the product in and then swoop it underneath. This is the product here. So it is very creamy and soft and smooth. However, I don't find that this is the most full coverage concealer that I own. It is a good concealer, but it does not hide lots of dark circles. So I find that with this, I end up using a color corrector, because using this just on its own, I find is not the most full coverage concealer compared to some of the other ones that I own. However, it is very easy to use and it is a very creamy consistency. So if you are someone with lots of dark circles under your eyes, or if you are looking for something to spot correct some blemishes or discoloration, I'm not sure if this is the product for you. You might need to use an accompanying product, so keep that in mind. So next up is the Lancome Long Lasting Under Eye Concealer. This product, I think this is my second or third tube that I've gone through. I've actually had a really hard time repurchasing this in Canada. I've tried directly from the Lancome website, I have tried at Sephora, I have tried Lancome counters. They seem to be discontinuing this, but they haven't really told the general public. I'm not sure if they're going to make more or what the story is. I really like it, so I hope they keep making it, but I might have to find something else in the meantime. So this comes in a tube like this. The only downside that this has is that it doesn't come with a doe foot applicator, so getting the product out can be a little bit of a pain, especially when it comes to the end of the product like this. You kind of have to squeeze it out and hope that you don't waste too much product. There we go. So this amount is probably a bit too much for both eyes. So as you can see, it's a very creamy consistency, but it's not too thick. It's quite opaque, but it doesn't have a very thick consistency. I'd say that this has an advantage over the Tarte Maracuja concealer because it stays opaque, but it's not a very thick consistency. This doesn't feel quite as heavy duty as the Tarte one, but it does feel just as high coverage, if that makes sense. So I really like this concealer. I hope I can find more of it soon. As you can see, a little bit goes a very long way. And this I find really helps with under eyes and even for spot correcting. I think it's an amazing product. Hopefully I can find another one because I would love to reuse this, but if not, maybe I will just try to discover a new product to review for you guys. Last but not least, we have the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer here. This also comes in a tube with a doe foot applicator. So again, this is quite convenient because you can just swipe it directly at your eyes, or if you have any spots to correct. Let me just see if I can give you guys a swatch. This tube is getting quite empty. So this is the product here. This is quite creamy and it's a little bit thick, but not too thick. It definitely has a thicker consistency than the Chanel one. It feels very soft and it's quite high coverage. I honestly usually have a toss-up between the Lancome concealer and the NARS Creamy Radiant. I find they both perform just as well. They're both as high coverage, but I would say that the only advantage the NARS concealer has is that it has a doe foot applicator. Other than that, these are both like phenomenal products. I would definitely repurchase these, except that I'm thinking I'm going to try something new just so I can have more products to review for you guys. I may have forgotten to mention this at the beginning of the video, but if you are someone who deals with dryness under your eyes here, make sure to use a concealer either in a tube format or in a stick like this. Make sure it's a creamy concealer like this. If you use one of those concealers that's in a tube, they almost look like a lipstick, but it's like a concealer shade. If you have dry skin around your eyes and you use one of those stick concealers, it's definitely going to help emphasize any dryness or dry patches or little crow's feet you might have, so I would say avoid those. So that's all I have for you guys for today for my concealer review. I realized that I don't have any drugstore concealers to review for you guys, and that's because I honestly haven't used one in a while now, so I don't feel comfortable reviewing a product that I used 3 years ago. I don't think that's very fair and that's not very genuine. So what I'm going to ask you guys is to leave a comment down below. If you have a favorite drugstore concealer that you love, leave a comment down below letting us know what it is and why. I'm actually inspired by Wayne Goss because he did a video like this recently where he talked about products from the drugstore and he didn't have any to review, so he asked his subscribers to leave a comment down below. So that's what I'm gonna ask you guys to do today, and I will leave a video link to his channel down below as well. So before we go, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can know whenever I post a new video. And I think that's all I have for you guys for today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I always appreciate it. And I will see you guys on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I think that's all I have for you guys for today. So bye.